If you clicked on this video, you probably have a smaller YouTube channel and want to grow. I recently hit the coveted milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. And I owe a lot of this channel's growth to these 7 tips. Tip number 1, respect the viewer's time. One comment I get on my videos all the time is an appreciation for how concise yet thorough they are, and I take that very seriously. I'm a big believer that time is our most valuable resource, and even though we don't have to pay money to watch a YouTube video, we all do pay with our time. So when putting a video together, I highly recommend spending the extra time on the front end to get your thoughts well organized so your video doesn't have to be any longer than necessary. This is actually a lot harder than you might think, but you can build a lot of credibility with your audience. And even as you're editing a video, cut out everything that doesn't directly advance the story forward. I will point out 2 elephants in the room here by way of YouTube's own requirements and system. The first is that YouTube requires 4,000 hours of watch time in addition to 1,000 subscribers to get monetized. And the second is that videos over 8 minutes long can have mid-roll ads, which is an additional monetization opportunity. Given that both of these can directly lead to you making more money, it can be very tempting to purposely add in some fluff and stretch your videos out longer than they really need to be. But my position is that a creator's relationship with their audience is really sacred, and in the long run, viewers will be much happier if there's no fluff and their time is fully respected. Tip number 2, if you try to appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one. This is a spin-off of the old niche down tip, but I think about it in a couple different ways. The first point I'll bring up is that traditional TV and Hollywood movies are usually part of a niche, and frankly that's helpful because it allows us to consume what we want based on our preferences. There are action movies, horror movies, and romantic comedies, and they're all very much packaged in those genres so that people who typically like those types of movies are more likely to watch them. And it's the same with traditional TV shows. There are sitcoms about married couples, there are crime dramas, etc., and they all revolve around appealing to the people who already like those kinds of things. The studios that make action movies aren't spending any of their efforts trying to convert the romantic comedy audience to come watch their action movie. But for whatever reason, on YouTube, a lot of folks think it's a good idea to put out different types of content in the hopes that casting a wider net and gaining a bigger following will come from it. And these same folks usually find out that was a bad idea. It's way easier to become known as a thought leader in a certain space than it is to just be a generally known person. Sure, there are some unicorns out there, but you or I probably aren't one of them. For YouTube, you're usually best off going one or two ways. First, you can make videos on one particular topic. For example, you could have an entire channel around using one video editing software, and then all of your videos could be tips, tricks, updates, etc., and that could be massively successful. Or the other way is to make videos that appeal to the same viewer avatar, but not necessarily all on the same topic, which is what I do. So my channel is focused on helping content creators grow and make better content. The same audience that would like a review of a popular camera would probably also like a review of a new wireless microphone, or even a video about different types of microphones that they might use for their videos. Neither way is really right or wrong, but with so many creators and YouTube channels to choose from these days, making general content with the hopes of appealing to everyone probably isn't gonna cut it. Tip number 3, don't press record before nailing down the title and thumbnail. If you're watching this video, you've probably heard some version of this before, so I won't spend a ton of time on it. The very simple reality is you can't get views or subscribers if people don't click on your video. And getting the click is all about the packaging, and the packaging is the title and the thumbnail. So if the best video you've ever made is behind a bad thumbnail and a bad title, it's really the same as if you didn't make it at all. And the other prong of this is that the viewer needs to be reassured quickly that the video matches what they expected from the title and the thumbnail. I think it's almost impossible to do this if you don't start with the idea and then mold the video content around that idea. There's probably thousands of hours of content out there about the importance of titles and thumbnails, so I think I can move on. The next 2 tips touch on the technical production side. Tip number 4, the best camera is the one you know how to use. Just like most people, I have GAS, Gear Acquisition Syndrome. One of the easiest possible excuses to tell yourself is that your videos will magically get better if you just had a fancy new camera. Well, I have news for both of us. A shiny new camera has nothing to do with your video ideas, how often you post, with your storytelling, how likable you are, and if you're interesting. And I think we can honestly say that if anyone checked all of those boxes but filmed their video on the phone in their pocket, they would still have a bang-up channel. And I can add a funny personal story here. I started out making YouTube videos on my son's channel where he was doing science experiments. I filmed those videos on my phone for quite a while, and then I decided I needed a mirrorless camera because, of course, that was the single limiting factor. So I bought the Sony ZV-E10, which was touted as the best beginner camera at the time, and quite frankly, still might be the best beginner camera today several years later. Well, I had no clue how to use it, and somehow I even messed up trying to use it in fully automatic mode where it just handles all the settings for you. And the end result was the next few videos were actually worse because I had every setting messed up so bad, about as bad as possible. So those videos were literally worse because I got a new and shiny camera instead of using the camera I knew how to use. Tip number 5, invest in audio and lighting before anything else. For our last technical/video production tip, concentrate on your microphone and your lighting before worrying about the camera. Virtually any camera of any kind will be sufficient to grow a YouTube channel if you have high quality audio, meaning you can clearly hear it, and high quality lighting, meaning you can clearly see the image. I have a personal love of microphones, and I have a number of videos about what types of microphones might be best for the type of videos that you create. And while there's a huge range in what microphones can cost, I recommend budgeting somewhere in the neighborhood of between $75 and $200 for a quality mic. Natural light can work if your space allows for it, but it can get really tricky dealing with having to film during certain parts of the day or trying to film on a sunny day versus a cloudy day, etc. It's just easier to get a reasonable studio light, something like 60 or 100 watts, and then a softbox, and you can light your videos much better. This is a super easy way to improve your image. Tip number 6, remember that Rome wasn't built in a day. Several studies support the notion that on average, it takes about 150 videos to hit 1,000 subscribers. And with any reasonable upload schedule, you can pretty much count on 1 to 3 years of a sustained effort to hit that magic number. Another thing to keep in mind is that YouTube growth isn't linear. And what I mean by that is that when you start from 0, it's not like you'll just gain the same number of subscribers month after month so long as you keep showing up. Instead, it's more like a snowball rolling down a hill and picking up steam. At first, you'll gain 0, then a few, and then it turns into a lot. It might take 2 years to get your first 500 subscribers, but then only 6 months to double it and go from 500 to 1,000. The takeaway here is that YouTube success, however you want to define it, takes time, which is really the same for anything else in life. So play the long game and be consistent for years on end, and success will be in your favor. And tip number 7, remember this is supposed to be fun. Above all else, it's important to keep in mind that making YouTube videos is a voluntary choice, and therefore it shouldn't be stressful or a chore. I think there's nothing to be gained by just trudging through and cranking out videos if your heart isn't really into it. My vote is that if you need a break, take a break. If you typically post videos on Thursdays, but something comes up and you'd have to pull an all-nighter to post your video on Thursday, just post the video whenever you can. It's been proven time and time again, the only way to be successful on YouTube is to publish a large number of videos over a long period of time. And if you're not keeping this fun, there's really simply zero chance that that'll be able to happen. One of my favorite YouTubers, Ali Abdaal, talks about this stuff all the time, and I definitely recommend checking out his channel for lots of advice and motivation. Let me know what you think of these tips in the comments and if you have any questions. And you can click here for more videos to help on your content creation journey.